All right, here we go. So today we're going to be talking about something what I think is really, really important to really truly understand when you're marketing and when you're selling. Okay, so the question that I want to ask you guys is: would you rather sell? Say you had like a shoe business, okay, for example, would you rather sell to a group that really, really needed a pair of shoes, or would you rather sell to a group that just kind of wanted a pair of shoes? What would you say? Would you choose the necessity market, the people who really needed it, or would you choose the market that just kind of wanted shoes? Okay, so I don't know what you're saying because it's not a live stream, but I have a guess. I'm gonna guess that you're gonna say that you're gonna choose the market that really needed the shoes because most people do choose that market, and I'm gonna tell you why that's totally wrong. Okay, so there's needs and then there's wants. Let's assume that these are two separate markets. There's people who really need your product and then people who really want your product. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a little story. I have a friend who, and this is a true story, I have a friend who owns a pharmacy and he does pretty well for himself. Okay, he can afford pairs of shoes, not a big deal for him. He makes a pretty good living, and he doesn't really. The thing is, he doesn't really care too much about what he's wearing. He thinks of things like shoes and clothing as more of a utility, right? And the thing is, he's owned the same pair of shoes for about 5 years now. Actually, every time I visit him, I see him with the same pair of Asics shoes that are basically so beat up. There's no traction left on the bottom of that shoe whatsoever. It's to the point where I feel like he's going to, like, if it's like an icy day, I feel like he's going to trip and really badly injure himself. And I keep telling him, like, hey man, you really need a new pair of shoes. And he says to me, well, I can still there's no need for a pair of shoes right now. I don't really need it. And it's not a money thing for him. It's just like he doesn't feel the need to get another pair of shoes. As long as his shoes can house his feet, he is totally fine with wearing it for the next 2-3 years if he wants it. But here's the thing. He actually does need a new pair of shoes. Even for safety reasons, he does need it. But he's going to hold on to these shoes until they literally fall apart on his feet. Me, on the other hand, I own about 50 plus pairs of shoes. I don't need another pair of shoes at all. That's the last thing I need. But I cannot help when I see like a new pair of Jordans come out in a different colorway. I cannot help when I see a new pair of Yeezys come out. I cannot help but want a new pair of shoes every time a new drop comes out. Okay? That is the difference between wanting something and needing something. And here's the thing. People who need in your market, there's probably a lot more people in this area. Okay? But the thing with these guys is that they're probably, if you're in the shoe business, for example, they're probably gonna only buy from you once every 3 to 4 years. Only when they absolutely, positively need that thing from you. People like me, however, if you figure out how to market to me, I can be loyal to you for the rest of my life, and I'm buying from you once every month. Okay? The thing is, this market is a lot smaller. Okay? Maybe there's, let's say, each circle represents 100,000 people or 50,000 people, whatever. And the company is Nike. I am so devoted and loyal to Nike. Anytime they do a drop that I think is going to be like that's something I just really want, they have my business 100%. So that lifetime value of me as a customer is much, much, much higher than the lifetime value of the necessity market. So what you want to do is you don't want to completely ignore the necessity market, because there are certain utility things that you want to to attract them with in your marketing. But you do want to focus on the wants, because this is where the profit is. Okay? These are the kind of customers that are going to bring you tons and tons and tons of profit. These are the guys that buy from you. Yes, that's totally fine, but they're not going to be those repeat customers once every month, once every 2 weeks, once every 2 months, right? These guys, you put them on your mailing list and you keep hitting them with every new product drop or another service that you may have, whatever the case may be, and they're going to keep giving you guys money as long as the product is good, and you can get them to be loyal to your business. And that's through marketing, that's through messaging, that's through branding, that's through your copywriting, that's through your design, that's through a bunch of things. But these are the guys that you want to focus on, the wants, the people who want. And how do you market wants versus necessities? So for example, with Nike, which is a shoe company, it's an apparel company, I like to think of it as a marketing company. With Nike, you'll notice they're not talking about things that are utility related. They barely talk about that stuff because they know that's not the main market that they want to go after, right? So they don't talk about how cushiony, or how comfortable their shoe is on long walks, right? Even though that kind of stuff is really important to these guys. No, they're a lifestyle brand. So anytime you see an ad of theirs, you're thinking like you see cool being promoted. You see lifestyle being promoted. You see different colors of shoes being promoted, right? So these are all the things that they know that this market really desires, as opposed to this market. That's why they focus on this kind of stuff. And they don't totally ignore this. If you look at their product descriptions, you will notice utility stuff. Yeah, like utility. You will notice copywriting that is more utility or oriented. But in terms of like their ads and trying to get their customers into their funnels and into their ecosystem, they're always going to appeal to the wants market, the people who really want your shoes, people like me, right? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, because this is so important to understand. And if you have a business where there is a clear difference between the markets, like, hey, like toilet paper, for example, so you can't really go after this kind of market because it doesn't really exist. You run out of toilet paper and that's it. You got to go get a new toilet paper. You got to get a new 12-pack of toilet paper or 24-pack of toilet paper. But when it comes to non-commodity products, you have to differentiate and you have to market to these guys over here, because these guys are the ones that are going to be making your business all that money. Okay? I hope that made sense. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, give it a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. All right, take care. Bye-bye.